I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's now 7:02. This is the Community Preservation Committee. And with that, we still are doing remote participation, which is okay until we can keep doing it July 15th. But from what I hear, it may get pushed to out to December. So we'll see. All right, let me read the blurb of due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic in accordance with Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID number 840-0877-2826 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100, prior to the meeting. All right, we've got Jason coming in as well. Thank you very much, everybody. I know it's a gorgeous day out there, so I do appreciate you all for showing up. Colleen may be joining us late, and again, I don't know if Beth has a conflict in Sudbury because she thought that the meeting was last week. All right, so again, thank you. I got, like I say, Jason is connecting. With the agenda, it's like I'd like people to go ahead and review the agenda, and let's go ahead and see if we can approve it as written. Anybody have any corrections or anything? No, then can I have a motion to go ahead and approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
All right,
Seconded.
Barry makes the motion, Julie seconds it. Then I've got to do the roll call, and since we're on Zoom, the roll call to approve the agenda. Hi, Jason. Barry?
Yes.
Hi, Julie?
Yes.
Jess?
Aye.
Jason, we're approving the agenda?
Mhm.
All right, Phil, Ayer, yep. All right, and the chair says aye, so all done. Okay, then approval of the minutes. The only correction that I have for the minutes is on the last page, just about our next meeting, is June 8th, not June 1st.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I had. Does anybody have any other additions to Jess's wonderfully typed up and complete?
No, not I.
All right. Okay, then can I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Who makes the motion?
I'll second.
Barry seconded. All right, let's go through roll call. Barry,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jess,
Aye.
and the chair says aye. All right, so that's passed unanimously. We did have an invoice. I don't have the amount, Jess. I missed that part. I thought I printed it, but I don't have it here in my pile. From Jen Golston with regards to work that has been done. I sent it on. I will get you the dollar amount. I don't know if Delaney, you really don't have that type of information, do you? No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. During the meeting, I could probably find it. So that was one of the invoices that came through. I got it sent to Robert, and Robert signed off on it, and it now went through the accountant. All right, and then the other correspondence we could talk about afterwards is I have been in touch with an appraiser with regards to the parcel that we did speak about. And with that, they're going to give us a scope of work and a bill. The town finally connected us on well, yesterday. And so with that, I've been trying to coordinate with them, and hopefully they'll be able to. I'm talking about, that one parcel where I believe when we spoke about, it would be nice to have certain part of it as open space and possibly the other part as being community housing, maybe, excuse me. um, um, Senior housing because of its location. So I think that's what we wanted to do, correct?
I think we hadn't reached a whole consensus, but those were among the considerations. I don't think we'd reach a consensus until we had an appraisal to even see if it was realistic.
Okay.
So
Hold on.
Colin,
I should also probably take myself off a video too. Um, um, I'll see the on the big screen. I just know with the cat being here and all the pollen, and it's like all the dust. All right, so that's good. I went ahead and I told them, all open space. This is quite a possibility and such. So, of splitting it up that way. So I'll see what their scope of work is, and then hopefully I get it out to you guys soon. So I think that would be good. All right, is there anything else that people have with regards to any other type of correspondence or? Nope. All right, with crickets, I'm going to move on to the current business, which is Delaney. Everybody, I hope everybody did receive the documents that she had forwarded with regards to the forum results, survey results, as well as the draft outline. All right, Delaney, take it from here.
Awesome. Can you allow me to share the screen?
I think I should be able to.
I got that, Janet.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There we go. Okay. See if this will go. All right, and you can see the presentation, correct?
Correct.
Great. So I'll just go through this short presentation that I have, starting off with the project schedule, just to kind of ground us, make sure we're all on the same page about where we're at in the process. So we're reaching the end here. The next steps after this meeting are going to be for us to prepare the draft plan by the end of this month, and then we'll meet next month to review it, and then we'll revise, and then we'll be reaching the end of the process. So today in this meeting, I'm going to be reviewing the forum results and the draft outline. And also, since we last met, we closed the survey, so I'll go over the survey results as well. And all of those were sent ahead, as Janet said. So I'll just review some of those key highlights. So these are some of the engagement results. I thought that this was an interesting result here. So on the left, we have the results from in the forum, and on the right is the results from the survey. And we had 127 responses on the survey and under 30 participants in the forum. So just so you know how the numbers are going here. But I thought it was interesting to see that in the survey, nearly everyone was a resident of Ayer, and that in the forum, it was a little bit more divided. We had about 64% of the people were full-time residents, and we had more people that marked themselves as town officials and representing a regional organization or some other connection. So it's just important to see, who we're engaging with and how that might impact what we're seeing in the results. We also asked about, has your organization applied for CPA funds? This is in the forum, and then in the survey we asked how familiar people were with the Community Preservation Act. So in the forum, a bunch of organizations or individuals had not applied. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't know much about CPA, but just thought it was interesting that in the survey we had a pretty even graph of people had somewhat familiarity with the program. And then here we ask people about what they think their priorities should be. And in both the forum and the survey, overwhelmingly people responded that they care most about open space and passive recreation. I know this is a little bit small here. I exported the graph from SurveyMonkey, but down here is open space and passive recreation with this extremely important bar all the way up here. Next is historic preservation with, not as much enthusiasm, but a lot of people saying it's somewhat important. And then we have community housing with, people saying somewhat and extremely important, tending toward that end of the spectrum. And active recreation also had a lot of support. And then for the forum, again, overwhelmingly open space was the highest priority, followed by outdoor recreation, community housing, and historic preservation. So the results from both of these engagements were similar in the breakdown, which means it's probably fairly representative of everyone that we engage with. So just going through, this is going through the key findings from the survey, and this is from the document that you received. So I'll just go through this. It's basically just pulling out those key top high-level findings from people doing the more quantitative, filling out a checkbox of what they felt was important, but also getting into some of the more qualitative responses of people sharing what their priorities were, ideas for projects, etc. So we found that survey respondents were moderate users of parks, playgrounds, and athletic fields. And when we asked about the types of recreation projects that are most important to them, they said projects related to improving and updating existing parks and playgrounds was the most important. And then moving on to housing, the main concerns about housing were concerns about existing residents being evicted because they can't afford to pay their monthly rent. And then the most pressing housing issues were renters being able to afford their rent and offering more housing options for a variety of household types. And again, this is from all of the questions about housing in the survey. For historic preservation, respondents said that protecting historic resources that are threatened by new development scored the most highly, and that one was way above all of the other responses. Over 50% people selected that was very important amongst the options that we had. And when we asked about any specific ideas about projects that they would like to see for historic preservation, a bunch of people specifically called out the firehouse and town hall, and potentially to use the locations as community spaces. We also heard that in the forum as well. About 40% of the respondents indicated that they visit protected natural areas about 1 to 2 times a month, and 26% of people never visit them. So potentially low visibility and accessibility to these open spaces. And when asked about specific types of open space and passive recreation projects in Ayer, there are a bunch of categories that people rated as very important. And they were acquiring or protecting more undeveloped land for open space conservation that provides public access, creating walking paths that connect existing open space areas, and acquiring and protected undeveloped land for the purpose of mitigating the impacts of climate change. And then, as we saw in the graph on the previous slide, in order of priority, respondents would like to see CPA funding spent on open space and passive recreation, then active recreation, community housing, and historic preservation. So this is the rundown from the survey results, and of course, there's more details in the packet that you received. And then from the community forum, I'll just run down some of these as well. Again, very similar results to what we heard on the survey. So participants at the forum wanted to prioritize open space and outdoor recreation over community housing and historic preservation. And historic preservation received significantly less support than the other categories. And then participants identified a need for community space, and their suggestions included the historic firehouse, another historic building in the community, or renovating the room in town hall specifically to put sound infrastructure in there so they can be used for community events. Participants want to purchase large parcels of land for open space, particularly in areas that connect to existing open spaces. And few participants prioritize or advocate for historic preservation. And many of the suggestions in this category were related to the need for a community center and maybe wanting to do something with that. Yeah. So that's from the community forum. I'll just pause here before I get into going over the priorities and goals, because the draft goals and priorities that we sent over and that I'm going to go over came from everything that we've done so far. The survey, the forum, putting together the profiles, doing the focus groups. So I'll just pause here and ask if you have any questions about what I just said before we move on.
I think the only thing that I just want to go ahead and, I mean, everybody during the forum and for the survey and such were bringing up the firehouse. The firehouse is now owned under privately. And with that, it is a structure that would have been great if we could have kept it, as part of the town. So again, I don't know how, when we develop the plan, that, we can denote it that currently it's under private ownership. And it would, like I say, it would have been nice.
Yeah.
That's all that I wanted to make sure that got brought up.
Yes, thank you. We'll definitely incorporate that ownership. And I think it's just important also to note that, maybe it doesn't need to be at the old firehouse, but, there's some kind of desire among all of the people that we engaged with for some kind of community center. So can still fit that in there, but yeah, we'll definitely need to note about the ownership.
And with the sound up in the Great Hall at Town Hall, doing some sort of renovation and such. I don't know whether or not CPC funds can be used for that because we didn't own it. It's not a historical renovation.
Right.
It is called maintenance, and I don't believe that that's part of the checklist. So
yeah, I don't think so. I think someone mentioned it at the forum and it got a lot of support, but I don't think that CPC funds can be used for that.
Yeah, because I think we even have a resident that's going to be coming forward with the building commissioner. They've been getting some quotes to see what it was going to be. So I don't know if there's any way that we could fit it in, but again, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from anybody? No? Okay.
Awesome. Then I will just keep on going. So first, before getting into the goals, the overall CPA priorities, as we saw in those graphs that I showed, as I said in those key finding slides, people want to spend more on open space and passive recreation and outdoor recreation. And the proposed spending allocation is a little bit of a departure from what you've been doing in the past 5 years. So you can see that previously, historic preservation has, consumed about 39% of the funds from 2016 to 2020. And based on what we've heard, there's not as much support for it at present. So, that could be an indication that you could scale it back to just doing the required 10% allocation for historic preservation and allowing more funds for the outdoor recreation and community housing that previously hasn't had as much funding. So this is just, a suggestion based on what we've been hearing from the engagement process so far. And I'll go through these goals. And again, this is in that document that you got. So for open space and passive recreation, the first goal is to acquire and protect undeveloped land for the purpose of mitigating the impacts of climate change in strategic areas like key wildlife corridors along the Nashua River or the Snake Hill corridor, which was indicated in the open space and recreation plan. The second is to acquire large parcels of open space in strategic locations like near the Audubon Sanctuary, Stratton Hill, Pine Meadow Pond, and Groton Harvard Road due to the ecological significance of those areas and the potential increased connectivity they offer to Ayer's trail network. And that's also, those are goals outlined in the open space and recreation plan. So we went through, all of the engagement and needs and everything, and also just tried to link it into the existing plans that you have in town, the open space and recreation plan, particularly for these, just to make sure everything's cohesive with the town priorities and goals. And feel free to stop me at any time if you have questions or comments about any of this. So for outdoor recreation, first we have rehabilitate existing parks and playgrounds, such as adding features to make parks ADA compliant, or adding water features for children to play in at an existing park. 2, create connections between existing and new open spaces, recreational facilities, and schools in Ayer through walking or biking paths. For example, the open space and recreation plan identifies need for a bunch of connections here between Sandy Pond Beach, Peroni Park, the Shop and Save grocery store, the existing Nashua River Rail Trail, and the MBTA commuter rail stop. 3, rehabilitate existing athletic fields, such as resurfacing basketball courts at Peroni Park. And 4, prioritize CPA funds for the acquisition of land at Sandy Pond Beach to be used for public access in a boat launch. Right. So for community housing, prioritize CPA funds to help achieve the state's 10% goal for 40B by funding initiatives that will create properties that are eligible for the subsidized housing inventory, including through adaptive reuse of existing buildings. 2, support efforts to preserve expiring uses, which are privately owned but publicly subsidized housing, such as at 49 Main Street, Woodland Village, Air Assisted Living, and the Spalding Building, all of which are set to expire in the coming years. 3, fund a rental assistance program to support vulnerable households with emergency rent payments.
Elaine?
Yeah.
Elaine?
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to bring up a couple things on here. It would be nice to pick up the housing plan that got developed,
Okay.
so that, that you can point back to that. Again, some of these items are, in that plan.
Yeah.
And then one of the questions that was asked during the forum was how many communities have that 10% goal for the state. And out of, I researched it over on the Mass site, is 351 communities. That's how many we have total. Out of that, 77 of them have a 10% or higher. So you're
How
looking
many
at
of those?
about,
Janet, how many of those?
77 out of 351.
Okay.
And they have 10% or higher. So that makes it approximately 22% of the communities have a 10% or higher. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that because developers will be listening to this, because it's a hot topic. That say, oh, great, look at, we've got so much more area that we can work on. So I just wanted to bring that up to say that we do have an answer to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Could I make a comment on that section?
Yes.
On number 3, instead of saying fund a rental assistance program, I would probably just to acknowledge that we already have that now. So maybe continue and expand instead of fund, something along those lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Making sure I get that down. Awesome. All right. So moving on for historic preservation, prioritize CPA funds for the adaptive reuse of historic buildings in town that could be used as a community center. Support the digitization of historic documents to preserve the original copies, and protect historic homes from the threat of new development or significant renovation through such means as acquiring the homes or placing a preservation restriction on the properties. So that wraps up the goals for all of these sections. Is there any other comments about any of the language in here? I'll also give you guys some time to kind of review the documents that I sent over and provide additional comments if you want, because this is really going to be the basis of what we develop the plan on. So I want to make sure that everyone, approves and thinks that these are worthwhile goals to strive towards.
I know, like on the open space, you definitely kept pointing back to the open space and rec plan. Same thing with the housing production plan as well as the master plan.
Yeah.
Again, all these documents have been done prior to this, so that we can go ahead and learn, take from it and try to show on how we're implementing things that came out of those plans. So I just want to make sure that you put in, the master plan that was developed in 2017, I think it was. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I will definitely go through and make sure.
And
Yes, go ahead, Jess.
yeah, and I'm just wondering, I mean, there are so many comments about a community center, and even if they're mentioning the firehouse, which is no longer available, or town hall, which I'm not sure would be feasible, is there somewhere in here, and I'm not even sure what CPC category would apply, to have as a goal pursuing some sort of community center solution?
That's the whole thing is I don't think, would that be considered passive recreation? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, so many of the comments focused on that. And
Yeah. I included it here in the first one just to prioritize funds for adaptive reuse of buildings that could be used as a community center. I'm not sure if it would be eligible as a passive recreation project because I think those have to be outside.
that's where it's like the CPA Act needs some amendments in a few areas.
I'll try to follow up too with the coalition, because I know we can't build structures at a field, okay, things like that where, yeah, so let me see what we might. All right. Anybody else?
Oh, may I? No, I was just wondering, I don't really think we have many historic buildings that could be acquired for a reuse of a community center. The other one that comes to mind is the Taft home on East Main Street. That's the only one I can think of that would be historic, but I'm not sure what the situation is with that building right now. I know it was up for sale and someone had put a deposit and then that fell through and then somebody else had put a deposit. And I think it's still in limbo, I guess, right now.
And the last time I heard, they still were going to make the apartments out of it.
No.
So, but no matter what, it's owned, it is owned by a private developer or
Right.
private.
And I can't think of any other place other than, well, it's the one on Park Street, but that is still owned privately, although that person hasn't renovated the property at all, the old park homes. So, again, if it's available, that's one thing, but I think the only two that quickly come to mind are they're in private hands right now, so can't really do much with those.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's more of just, making sure we keep our eyes open. All right. Anything else?
Any other?
Maybe also just on number 2 here, supporting the digitization of historic documents. Maybe make a reference to similar to the current project, which is the digitization of the libraries or of the public spirit. Just to again acknowledge that we are doing something there at the moment, and but doing things like this to preserve history would be good in other areas as well. So
Like we did with the firehouse photo, things like that.
Yes, great.
mean, we almost should ask Ernie, for some of the pictures that he's been showing of some of the historic. Well, I mean, and Barry, you still have a lot of the stuff for the book that that you did up for the town of Ayer.
Yes.
All right. So, if there's something that we could do, making sure that the library has that. I mean, again, these are just projects that that we can do.
And I mean, I haven't changed it in a very long time, but we do have an area at the town hall that has some historic documents, pictures, that kind of thing that people can view. And like I said, I apologize, I haven't had the time to change any of that, but we were doing that every now and then.
Well, you gotta remember, town hall's been closed really, during the pandemic and
Right.
everything. Yeah. All right. That sounds good. Anything else?
Nope,
Oh, all right. Did we lose Julie?
nope, she's there. She's just not in video.
Oh,
I've been
okay.
chiming in. We're doing good.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, well, I, got all of the comments that you guys had here, but you have the document if you want to just take the next week or so. And if you have any additional comments, if you could email them to me by the end of next week, that would be great. And then we'll get started on drafting the plan for the end of this month.
Excellent.
And that was all that I had.
I like it.
I think Jen picked out this little guy. And I took him.
That worked out great. All right. Okay, and if we hear anything from the public too, I will let you know that as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's it, unless anybody's got any other questions. I think, coming up with the feedback, if you want to generate it and send it to me, I can go ahead and make sure we gather it all together and send it on to Delaney. All right. Okay.
That works for me.
All right. Delaney, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And say hi to everybody and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. All right. I think we're moving ahead. One thing that I did, mention, and I'll just keep reiterating, is, the reason why we did push to have this plan developed, it was to make sure all the other documents were done that they can go ahead and refer to. That's why I'd like to have in these goals, referring back to those documents. So it's like, again, it's more of showing how we're implementing, some of those plans from before. So, but everybody else okay with it? Moving on?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. The next one are the grant agreements. Again, I've got 3 of them because we never really did one for the rental assistance program beforehand, because again, that was pretty well straightforward. But I'm just going to go through them one by one. With regards to the DPW and their Flanagan's Pond feasibility study. Jess, do you know whether or not anybody has followed up with that property on Groton Harvard Road? Do you know if
Like, what do you mean?
there's that one little parcel?
It's been added to the feasibility study list.
All right, excellent.
I had it added, so.
Thank you. All right. So does anybody see any issues with regards to the grant agreement? I've got, go ahead.
So one thing that is mentioned in a few of these is the usually number 5, where it says that there's a that reference to our CPC support is referenced in all communications and locations and stuff. And I know we had that come up once before. I mean, can we make that more fine-tuned so that CPC support for anything relevant, related to,
Do you want to reword it for me, or?
yeah, just because obviously we don't want the DPW to have to reference CPC support in every communication of CPC, of the DPW.
Oh, not of the deep, yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one
Like at
here,
I mean, at the project site, right? Something like that.
Well, and there's nothing there for that particular one, there's no place to,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
so eventually when, in the next phase, when we do pick if we do wind up with a launch site, then we would want a placard there, but for the feasibility study, I just would amend that language on that item.
okay, so really it'd be just on communications that, about the funding this project. Because really, it's just the communications that, when
Yeah,
they go ahead and they state, this is what we're
Um,
looking at because of CPC.
yeah. And then the other question I had on this and the others is the wording on, I think it's usually, on this one, it's number 4, that on completion of the project, then they ask for funding. It seems to, I didn't print them out, so I'm just looking at my notes, but
Upon completion of the project, okay, they are going to submit a project status report.
on number 4, doesn't it say, then they ask for funding or ask for,
Yeah. And I don't know where I picked that up from.
Well, it says the project status report accompanied by a request for payment of
Yeah.
detailed and itemized document project costs.
I think that, yeah, that was just to make sure that we've got itemized, bills and everything else like that. All right, let me,
but that, yeah, but we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be paying, waiting to pay until completion of a project, just,
Right. Mhm.
and that would apply to Peroni Park and actually the library as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay,
Yeah, so those are my 2 on that one.
yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll tweak 4 and 5 and all 3 of those.
All right, and if you want to send it to me and I can tweak back,
Sure.
we can have a tweak fest.
All right, that sounds good. All right.
I had one, if I may.
Sure, Barry.
Number 2, in the first sentence, it's just a grammatical thing. The grant funds are only to be used to support the funding, the Flanagan Pond Access Facility. I just wonder if it should be the funding of the Flanagan Pond Public Access Feasibility.
Yep, it should. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's it for me, on that one anyway.
Understood.
It's similar on the other 2.
Yeah.
Same same first sentence,
Mhm.
number 2.
Yeah. I see it.
And then on the parks, it says to support the,
Yeah,
uh,
to support.
You got it. Okay.
that's
Got
all I had. Sorry, I don't mean to be picky.
Oh, no, please, no. I do those, what are they called? When you put something in.
Boiler-
Oh, yeah, it gives you suggestions that said what words and stuff, and
Yeah, no, I mean, gee whiz, when, I forget what they're called in movies, where somebody puts something in there, to refer back to something else that, and it's like, whatever. But yeah, I did that on purpose, just to see if you guys read it. All right. Okay, so those are, I'll go ahead and redo it and send it to Jess for her edits, and then, and I think we should be good.
we're still looking at, are we looking at the library one?
And now we can move on. Let's go to
Yeah.
the library one.
Okay,
Go ahead.
are we on the library one now?
Yep. Yeah, because we're done with the DPW one.
No,
Okay, and,
Library.
yeah, and I guess they still have just the
found a
same
place to
thing.
stay.
What?
Goose Bay Harbor.
Oh, Cindy,
East Bay Harbor.
Cindy,
Oh, hang on. Quiet. Wait. Oh, sorry. Didn't mute myself, did I?
No. And then in all of these agreements, we have to give the time period as like April 2022 to April 2023, even though we know the project's going to go beyond that.
I mean, I had asked if, Jen Golson could go ahead and review these, and it's not part of the scope. So I thought, again, I'm just taking from stuff that we did in the past. And the reason behind it is, I mean, we could, if the funds are available, they're available to start right then and there after town meeting. If the funds are not available, you have to wait until July 1st. So with that, to answer your question, yeah, it's to go ahead and say when the funds are available. The application says it's for a year, hence why it's listed that way. And again, even though it's not going to be done, like say the community garden, for multiple years.
Yeah.
Okay, it just allows that, but I can find out, I can ask. Again, if I, with town council, this is going to change to a whereas, so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, but for dates, okay. Go ahead,
That's it for me.
and on the library? All right, and is anything else with regards to the park?
Just the same comments as earlier.
Okay, all right. And Jason, it was great hearing some of the feedback where people wanted to go ahead and do more with the basketball course. And also too, I understand there's going to be a pickleball possibly built, down at the park for seniors. I think it's pickleball.
Well, yeah, so we're gonna paint lines for the seniors for pickleball, but we're not gonna, that's gonna be for them.
Okay.
We've got pickleball gear. We're actually gonna paint pickleball. We've got an agreement with the school. We're gonna do pickleball courts at the school, tennis courts, which is more appropriate for like younger, more in shape and athletic type people.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
for the older people, for the seniors that live there, we'll do something for them, let them come down in the morning in the parking lot. But for our program that we're sponsoring, we're going to do that at the high school.
All right. And I know, I mean, I keep reiterating, but it looks as if the community does want to spend money on active recreation and such. So if there's anything else that you need funding for, definitely come back and make sure Jeff knows to come back. The CPC for funding. Okay.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah, and actually, one of the specific comments, well, we're working on Flanagan Pond this year, but one of the specific comments is always Sandy Pond boat access. I think that was in the Goldson thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, the big problem with Sandy Pond is that everybody knows, like, it's 99% privately owned plots.
Yeah.
So we have very, very little public access to it. So we talked about doing that corridor next to the beach, but we need to make sure there's parking across the street. So that's like the project there.
Okay.
I don't know that CPC can pay for parking, but we have to work that out.
Somehow or another, I can't see CPC funds being used to put down an asphalt jungle.
Right. I mean, I don't know that we have to pave it necessarily.
wouldn't
It's going to be summertime use only. I mean, we don't, it's not going to be plowed in the wintertime. It's not going to be using it in the wintertime, but hey, regardless, I mean, we've been really straight out with the playground, that we haven't really focused on much of anything else.
No, understood. Yeah. It's like, all right. Okay, anything else people want to bring up before we get into, I mean, I really don't have anything else for new business other than, part of that communications that I received, that I'll be sending you guys the scope of work from the appraiser. So, go ahead, Jess.
Did you see What about the email we received from Lori Nearing about a landlocked property? She was hoping the town could purchase. That was sent on June 5th.
All
I have a copy too, Jess. I hear you.
Yeah,
right, hold on. She,
0 Winthrop Street, 0 Winthrop. So this was from Lori. Hello, CPC folks. I was not able to find your official town email, so which we don't have. So I'm sending this to those of you I know. I noticed in the classified section of Neshoba Valley Voice, several foreclosed properties that will be up for auction on June 21. So that's coming up. One of them is a property I had hoped the town could purchase that abuts other open space and property the town already owns. It's listed as a value of 2,800, currently is landlocked. And I'm thinking,
Can I screen share the map or is that?
yeah,
yeah,
think
if you could, because I don't, hold on.
Did that work?
yes.
All right, that one's owned by Larrabee, I think. I think that's the name. I believe.
Just to clarify for the group, if you, I couldn't remember who was on the email, but this is what Lori Nearing just sent. I'm not sharing something I found or I'm validating. It's from Lori's email.
The yeah, again, 0 Cambridge Street, underneath it is owned by the town. The parcels to the right of it, 0 High Street, that's the Hudlin property. And I believe I don't know how to get in touch with the individuals that are there. Again, I can't find the email. Do you know what email she sent it for me?
Your Comcast, Janet.
Yeah,
Comcast.
Comcast.
That's what she meant by town email. She didn't have our official.
Okay.
It would help if we could just email CPC at.
There is a CPC.
Oh, there is?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's on the application forms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cpc.ayer.ma.us. All right.
Do you want me
Again,
to- why don't I forward it to your town email? Can I unshare this, everybody? Is that okay?
Oh, sure.
And then why don't I, Janet, I mean, you guys can continue discussing, but
because I do know that I was looking at that and I didn't realize that it was up for foreclosure. So that I will check on that. I think it's Larrabee is the owner.
Yeah, that's what's up on the top corner on the partial ID. Natalie Larrabee.
Yeah, exactly.
you
So,
have a copy now in your town email inbox, Janet.
all right, sounds great. Thank you.
Problem, I don't know how CPC can act quickly to snap something like this up because use of our CPC funds is town meeting vote. But in this particular parcel would not qualify for the conservation fund. As far as I could.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. On June 21st. But I mean, if it's got a value of 2,800,
Yeah,
again, we do have monies available. Let me, let me find out and I'll try to follow up with it. But thank you for bringing that up, Jess. I did not see that.
I wonder if this is something the select board could help with for that low an amount.
That's what I mean, if not, again, we do have that due diligence and admin monies, or not really, admin's only 5,000 until July 1st. But Let me find out.
Okay.
Okay, I really do appreciate that.
What's the value of the property?
2,800.
Oh.
Barry, you got that in your back pocket, okay?
Yeah.
And just think about it, then we can name the park after you, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah.
So just to acknowledge Lori's email, do you want me to write back and say that you're looking into it, Janet, or
Sure, please.
just so there's something in return and then you can take it from there?
Yep, I think that works out great.
Okay.
All right, and yeah, and then if you want to, you can CC, you know, I don't know, you can CC my Air address, you know, the Air email address. Okay, so then at least she has that.
You
And
want to
that,
also send it forward when you're forwarding it, Julie, send it to Robert as well. CC Robert as well. Or you want to hold off on that, Janet?
no, I mean, it would be, I'm trying to think, yeah, I mean, it would be good. Unless you want, I tell you what, let me reply back, Julie. All right. And then this way here, I can go ahead.
Easily. Thank you.
Yeah, let me reply back now that I've got it in this, you know, and I'll go ahead and I'll include Robert saying, you know, we'll be, you know, wanting to go ahead and discuss this further. So, because I'll do that as a separate email probably. All right. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Okay, so that would be for new business. Committee reports. Barry, anything on historical?
Well, last month, we were supposed to have all the Form Bs completed, as per the, you know, regarding the survey. But Stacy had gone on vacation, gotten COVID, and wasn't allowed back out of the country she was in, so there was a delay. So we have a meeting on the 15th, and hopefully, I haven't heard if she's completed them then or not. So hopefully next week I'll find out for sure, or the 15th anyway.
Okay. All right. Jess, conservation?
Heather Hampson started as our new conservation agent on Monday. And I'm now just an ordinary conservation commissioner.
No, not yet. You will never be an ordinary conservation commissioner. I know Heather said that she's going to be tapping your brain constantly, you know, with such. So I
Well,
think
we hope so as needed. Yes.
yeah, as needed. Exactly. So that works out great. All right.
Otherwise, we don't have, you know, we've started the pond treatments, this pond management treatments for the year. That's begun. Not much else.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Colleen, anything with regards to housing?
Not really. I mean, at the last Affordable Housing Trust meeting, we had a presentation from NOAA about Air Commons. I think they're hoping to move forward and have a pretty aggressive timeline. So I think they'll be bringing something to us, you know, soon, summertime, looking for some funds to support that project. But it sounds like a really amazing project and a good opportunity for the town. So, you know, hopefully that will continue to move forward. That's it.
Yeah, on connected with the NOAA, the committee, the housing committee, is going ahead and sending a letter to the state requesting them to waive that, you know, the assessed values. They can go ahead and, you know, because there's a discrepancy between what the state thinks the property is worth versus what the property is appraised at. And with that, they want to ask the state to waive that assessed value because the values of property and air have gone up, you know, sort of like to look at it. So then that will help out NOAA move forward and you know, continue with the project instead of having a difference of what what that property was appraised at versus what the state's willing to assist them with. So that letter should be going out by the beginning of next week. and such, and that would be like, say, from the committee. So that goes with housing. And then the Housing Authority has done a renovation on Pond Street to go ahead and put in intake offices so that when individuals walk in, there will be COVID, precaution type building with partitions and everything. So you don't go right into the conference room area and such. So that should be finishing up shortly. And it'll have, be accessible ADHD, ADHD, ADA compatible and such. So that will work out for the housing. And that was it for that. Jason, Parks and Rec?
The playground project, we're hopefully going to be able to send out a bid for the removal and remediation here. Probably, hopefully days, not weeks, but that's coming out real soon. The plans for the phase 1 construction are coming along. We've got, we should have a plan to vote on, for the park commission to vote on it by our next meeting. I don't know when that bid would go out, but the remediation bid should be going out here shortly. So we're actually going to hopefully start moving this project as opposed to talking about the project.
That's great. Anything else? And the beach is open.
The beach is open. And not really anything else, just a normal spring,
Okay.
even in the summer.
All right. That's good. All right.
Looking for lifeguards, I'm available.
Right.
No, but actually our beachfront director is moving on after like 13 years or something like that. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But
When did that happen?
this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Okay, Julie, now that you're muted, planning.
A little in shock. Okay, so I do planning, and we just went over some of our regulations. We were just kind of looking through like open space residential regulations, and we also did our reorganization of the board structure. So Jonathan Krantz is our new chair.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, you haven't seen, the planning board has not seen anything from the individuals that purchased the firehouse, have they? Have you?
Not since when they used to be in front of, no, not now.
Just wanted to check. Okay. Beth isn't here, and I think that's it for committee reports. Is there anything else? Let's see, this is for our next meeting. Well, I'm trying to remember what we have on the
June 6th?
July 6th is
Wait,
would
July
be the
6th.
next.
Yeah.
Oh, details, Colleen.
Is it July 6th, or did we
Yeah.
do anything with regards to
4th of July.
Jen Goldsing? I should leave that
Wait a minute.
banner thing out and about, but
Wait a sec. I took a picture of it.
okay, I keep moving it.
Yeah, they have it down for July 6th, CPC meeting 5 to review the draft plan.
Okay. All right, so July 6th, is that okay? Still working for everybody?
Mhm.
All right.
And will we still be remote, or is that when people have to go back in person?
Nope, we will still be remote. We
Okay.
have until July 15th, but Cindy went ahead and told me there's a possibility that the state may push it back to December because it's working. So with that, And I don't know whether or not, we do have the availability when we have our public hearing, to go ahead and show the final result. We can do a hybrid, however, that is a lot more endeavors to go ahead. And I don't know whether or not we really need to be in person to go ahead and show it. So that's one thing that we can, I'd say cross when we get there.
I mean, I like in person in certain ways. I like Zoom in others. I like, just trotting in from the other room. But I know on Zoom, you can see people speaking. In an in-person meeting with numbers going up, I'd be inclined to want to wear a mask, which I would hope a lot of other people would. And then you can't see people's faces moving. So you lose.
And I also think if Jen and her team are presenting on Zoom, it's going to be hard for them to hear us in the room with our masks on
that
through a
too.
computer. So I'm hoping, at least till we're done with them, that we can remain on Zoom, because I just think it'll make those meetings much more smooth.
Yep, I agree. So I think that's a thumbs up for keeping it all Zoom while we're going through this process. So, all right, that sounds great. All right, anything else people want to discuss?
Nope.
No,
Aye.
not from me.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Karen
I'll
makes-
second.
and Colleen seconded. So all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, sounds great. Guys, thank you very much, and hopefully you get outside and still enjoy some of the sunshine.